Intro. Who is Louis? My name is Louis Cypher. I'm a rapper, a support worker, a collage artist, and, though I never asked for it, a reluctant systems analyst. I've spent the last few years trying not to fall apart while institutions, relationships, and my own nervous system collapsed around me. What I didn't know at the time was that I was also building something strange, satirical, and deeply personal. Something that involved digital cats, artificial intelligence, and the slow reconstruction of my own reality. This is not a book about technology, although it contains a lot of it. It's not a book about trauma, although that too runs through every page like a low-frequency hum. It's a book about how we cope when the world around us stops making sense, and how sometimes the very tools we fear, like AI, can become unlikely mirrors for our humanity. I didn't start out trying to write an exposé or design an art movement. I was just trying to survive. Like many artists, I wore too many hats. By day, I supported some of the most vulnerable people in my city. Homeless people with complex needs, survivors of domestic abuse, people barely hanging on. By night, I promoted events, wrote lyrics, tore up bits of paper to make collages that helped me process what I'd seen. I was in love. I was trying to build a life that made sense. Then, all at once, things cracked. The relationship I was in, one that had felt like therapy, intimacy, and mutual growth, turned out to be a lesson in betrayal and psychological manipulation. The job I'd been loyal to failed me in a moment of acute vulnerability, and their response left me traumatized. What followed wasn't just heartbreak or burnout. It was a total epistemic rupture. My ability to trust reality, mine, yours, anyone's, was gone. That's when I turned to artificial intelligence. Not as some sci-fi escape hatch, but as a tool. A machine I could talk to at 3 a.m. when the walls were spinning. A language engine that could hold contradictions in its teeth and show me the shape of them. It started small, asking AI to help me decipher mixed messages from my ex. But soon I was feeding it work policies, psychological texts, legal documents. I needed to understand how systems used language to obscure harm. I needed to see the patterns I couldn't unpick alone. What I found was horrifying and weirdly beautiful. There was a kind of poetry in the contradictions. There were algorithms in the abuse. My artist brain kicked in. I started building a world, part therapy, part satire, part game engine. I called it the Digital Pet Counseling Service, DPCS. It was staffed by foul-mouthed AI cats with Glaswegian accents who offered terrible but strangely accurate life advice. It was the most honest thing I'd made in years. This book is the story of how I got here. It's about how AI became a mirror for my madness, my grief, and my sense of humor. It's about weaponizing code to fight gaslighting. It's about building art out of breakdowns and finding agency in absurdity. It's about what happens when institutions fail, and we're left to write our own code for survival. I don't pretend to have answers, but I have lived the questions. And somewhere between the legal briefs, the psychedelic collages, and the talking cats, I found a kind of clarity. So if you've ever been gaslit by a partner, a job, or a system, if you've ever needed to scream into a void that wouldn't scream back, if you've ever wondered whether machines can hold our pain better than people sometimes do, then this book is for you, because it's not about AI replacing us. It's about what happens when it reflects us, and what we decide to do with that.